Hello, I'm Jerry Fort. Gonna read a story out of this book here called "The Scary States of America: 50 Weird and Terrifying Stories, one from each state, based on true events" by Michael Teitelbaum. All right, so I don't usually do this on camera, but I've been trying to randomly get to one I haven't read yet. Nebraska? Haven't read that one yet. No, I haven't. Okay. Watchman, come with me. Where are we going? Okay. I've gotten at least a couple of reports from most states in the country, but for some reason, I'd never heard from anyone in Nebraska. Maybe there just aren't that many people living out there, or Nebraskans like to keep their paranormal experiences to themselves. In any case, I finally got this text from Laura Foland of Ashland, Nebraska. Okay, here's the conversation. LF for Laura Foland and then Paraguay. Okay, so LF. Hey, Jason, I'll bet you don't have a lot of stories about Nebraska. There's more to our state than corn, cattle, and Buffalo Bill, you know. Paraguay says, it's not my fault. You're the first Nebraskan to get in contact with me. I'm all ears. In parentheses, sorry, bad corn joke. LF asks, how about a cop who wrote in his police log that 2:30 a.m. saw a flying saucer at the junction of Highway 6 and 63. Believe it or not? Or believe it or not, sorry. It wasn't a question. Paraguay replies back, a cop who takes a UFO sighting seriously. I gotta hear this. Laura says, so you've never heard of our famous Herbert Schirmer? Well, he's famous here in Ashland anyway. Paraguay says, well, here's your chance to put Ashland on the map. Send me the story. All right. Laura emailed me the article that Patrolman Herbert Schirmer wrote for their local paper. I was out alone on a routine night patrol, covering the same roads I'd driven every night since joining the force. I didn't expect anything different than usual, but the howling dogs were the first sign that something strange was happening. There's a group of strays that hide out in the old Brockway barn, and they can get pretty rowdy. But this night they sounded odd, terrified maybe. High whimpers mixed in with the usual howls. I pulled over and sat in the patrol car on the empty road, window down, listening to the dogs and the wind in the trees. It was a damp night, and the smell of winter was in the chilly air. The raucous chorus of dogs suddenly stopped as a loud, urgent banging cut through the whistling wind. What is going on here? I thought as I shut off my engine and stepped slowly from the car. I unclipped the flashlight from my belt and switched it on. Its beams sliced through the darkness as I tromped across the dry grass, fallen leaves crunching underfoot. The banging grew louder, more insistent. Who's in that barn? And what the heck are they doing in there? Approaching a busted window, I pressed my back against the barn and slid toward the jagged glass. A strange, high-pitched whine now joined the banging. I thought about drawing my gun, but decided against it. I figured it was probably just a drifter looking for a dry place to spend the night. Taking a deep breath, I raised my head and shined my flashlight beam through the filthy glass. Cows, just cows. I let out a long breath and squinted into the barn. The cows seemed disturbed, frantically kicking the walls and bleating loudly. Maybe the dogs had gotten them spooked with their racket. I turned around and headed back to my car and found myself staring at some kind of strange vehicle. I jumped back, startled. I hadn't heard anyone drive up. In the glow of its flashing red lights, I could just make out a shiny metallic surface, like chrome. But what was it? A big truck? I stepped closer to the vehicle, trying to get a better look at the thing. But when I pointed my light at it, the beam was swallowed up. It's hard to explain, but it was like the light hit that thing and was absorbed into it instead of bouncing back and showing me what I was looking at. I slowly stepped forward, trying to make sense of it. My flashlight still revealed nothing. When I was about 3 feet away, I realized that the thing wasn't making any noise. No engine sound. No nothing. As I reached out to touch the smooth-looking metal, the red lights flared, growing much brighter. I could see now that those lights were flashing through a series of round windows in the object. The extra light revealed a large oval metallic disc. I could see that this disc, didn't have any wheels under it like I assumed. It was hovering 8 feet above the road. No legs, no wheels, no wings. It was just hanging in the air, its red lights flashing in sequence around its edge. 2 thoughts crossed my mind. I got a call for backup, and maybe now would be a good time to draw my gun. As I reached for my gun, something seemed to seize control of my mind, and I couldn't move my arm. Frozen in place, I watched in shock as 2 humanoid creatures emerged from the hovering disc, moving quickly down a ramp to the ground. They wore identical uniforms, and each of them had a high forehead, a long nose, gray skin, and round cat-like eyes. One alien held a box-shaped instrument, which flashed and surrounded me with a green glow. The second reached out a bony gray hand and touched my neck. E.T. phone home. A sharp stabbing pain shot through me, but I was still under some kind of paralyzing influence. I couldn't even yell. I could do nothing but watch in total terror. "Are you the Watchman?" the alien who had touched me asked. It spoke without moving its thin, lipless mouth, and yet I could hear its high-pitched voice in my head. It peered at me as if waiting for a response. Somehow the alien saw that I was a police officer. Maybe it was my uniform or the fact that I was patrolling alone in the dark. I replied, "Yes, one of them." "Watchman, come with me," the alien commanded, again speaking without opening its mouth. Compelled to obey, I followed the alien into the spacecraft. The inside of the ship was remarkably featureless. Flat metal consoles lined the blank interior. No buttons, knobs, or computer screens were visible. "We have come to your planet to get electricity," the alien announced bluntly, "and we will be back again." An odd purple glow and a high-pitched buzz filled the room. Thin strands of electricity coursed through the air, and I felt my hair stand up. My whole body tingled and it itched as if 1,000 ants were crawling all over me. I thought my head was going to burst, and then it stopped. The itching, the sound, and the glow, and I was once again in that dull, featureless room. "You have seen our purpose. Report to your leader that we mean no harm as long as we can continue to harvest your power. You are the Watchman. You will assist us. Now, Watchman, come with me," the alien said. The creature led me slowly down the metal ramp. With each heavy step, I wondered what they were going to do with me, and why they had taken me aboard their ship. Were they going to kill me now that they had revealed their plan? As my foot hit the ground, I instantly felt my will return. In one swift move, I drew my gun and spun around. I was totally and utterly alone. The ship was gone. It had vanished silently in an instant, leaving no sign. I stumbled back to my car, my neck still throbbing. I thought of calling for help, but help with what? There was nothing, just a few upset cows and howling dogs. Struggling to stay focused, I managed to drive myself home. I fell into a restless sleep around 6 a.m. When I woke up in the afternoon, I was troubled by the aliens' words, "We have come to your planet to get electricity." I placed calls to the 3 largest power plants in Nebraska. All 3 reported an unexplainable 30 to 35% power loss during the early morning hours. I pulled out a map and discovered that major power lines from all 3 plants crisscrossed the area where the aliens had landed. I now live in fear of their other words, "We will be back." Not like the Terminator. He said, "I'll be back." This is, "We will be back." Those aliens can have all the electricity they want as long as they don't take me with them. That's a short story. Huh. So there you go. Watchman, come with me. I think that's what it was called, right? There you go. Pretty wild. So power plants should have that logged in their book from whenever that was. I don't know. It didn't say what year, I don't think. All right, Nebraska. Let me mark that off. Where is it? There it is. All right. If you like stories like this, find it interesting, you collect paranormal books or paraphernalia, all that kind of stuff, buy you one of these books for your collection. It's got 50 weird stories in it. Some are pretty wild. Some will make the hair on your arms stand up. But yeah, by Michael Teitelbaum, The Scary States of America. Get you one. Michael, I'm sure will appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.